Central for ne adofo ayeshia ene ye frame a na ne tia wamu ane se Cocoa board bill na yede eba parliament no ya pass no jaso no the New Patriotic Party no ye wo how akwa na mienu bi e wo ho no nti ena ya frame na yamano NDP say New Patriotic Party yen time say aban ebeye mrafofra or de bebo cocoa no ho ban na mum ne aye kan say o hyemra ebeboa cocoa obi anim cocoa mfaso dodo a ewo ho ene challenges so ewo mu nti wo hyemra ebe bokoko ne ho bra ensasa wo ye ne dwaso ensasa wo ma obia ede na desrede ane ebe ha no na hiasem ene na dwena ewo saa mra no ode tudwa ne yebobo ho ansa na yahye saa emra no ebe ye monwanwa se emrei yede ba mrahye bedwam na wotwekura ama na ya pass saa mra no na emrei omo aye shama omo titiriu pa omo dikan ene akuafo ye frɛ Ghana Cocoa Farmers Association for omo president ose obia amona mane se ye hye samre ya anya consultation bia Cocoa Best Farmers Association for so omo so wokuo omo so president so ye frɛ no ono so se obia amona mane se ye cocoa bill bia omo twi cocoa no ye from Cocoa Holiers Association so yebusa omo se obia nka ahwe nkyere omo the license buying companies so omo de omo adesrede so eba beto yanim eno so yesre senka omo nhwe na ne ye befata no yemfa nhyemre no mu eno so omo anye na mo bekaya bill ye refer ma finance committee agric committee and constitutional and legal committee say yen kwahwe say yen pass no jaso ana yakwa yen ebisa wo say na anye bia mahia major stakeholders na wo say o consultant bi echo around ekohia wo yes o say consultant call around dia na mahia wo dia momfa report wa kire say ampaniam pa mahia stakeholders no report bia entumi ama nti yesre say nko wo twentwen so nanka pass through the normal process no enso ye kan ya omo ampene na wa obenya abotra obehwe bill ne mo no o how bebre ewom na emrenti ensia pe na yeyi a ene ye ne mo eka ho asem nia edikan eye nia brofum wo mo friend say restriction on the mandate of Cocoa Board na chere say adwuma potin sese Cocoa Board o ye no and say we be Cocoa Board for bia no mo ye akwan e bia no mo ye niema bia enka wo mo call mandate no ho nti aban se o hyemra na ahye Cocoa Board keten se e ma wo mo empatry emfree wo mo call mandate no ho call mandate no nko a na wo mo enye ene asio e ya de papa wo mo aka sa awie ye no na wo mo asa aka se immom minister no ebetumi amaya ye adwuma enye Cocoa Board no mandate no ye ka so ye sadia na je sa kwasi ko na so no san gina ekwantia ebi se minister bi ba na se bibi ho no no ankasa na ni je ho a ne opeso ye bia na obeye ndi sa close no efi se enkomo esakra mu a enka ebeboa etoso mienu ene cocoa eboa ye de be ma akuafo no wo hwe mra na ye hye no mu a omo say Cocoa na beton ye Cocoa Board beton no obema akuafo no ohamu chichemu aduoson yes we dey nka ya asem papa na omo ye bill ne foforo no omo dey kan tro say ombema cocoa farmers 70% of the world market price afedie ade akochin ya no matesa world market price no say da binya world market price biem na emom Cocoa Board koton cocoa no a ne omo no benya no na ombema akuafo no emu ohamu chichemu edioson ande ka say we dey anadwoma na sembe ni na wonkwa ukoton koko na oba na osise na unya ya ebe na etumi ehunu say where market price dia and now for phone kra na ugugula ube say where market price no e say ndu calculate mu 70% ya enya de bia ebe ye den na mmom ne akoko board nko ensa be kan de oba na osise na unya ya yentumi enye no akyinye ena eno so epa ho aban so obema cocoa board for obema private companies and license no mo de aye cocoa no ehun mo de abo ho bra na okohwe niema wakeka wo saa cross no a saa adwuma ni nyina no eye private sector no ena eye ne odi be hia mu sesi a private sector no nya eye cocoa board cocoa marketing company for na eye no eye export and external marketing cocoa yede ekwa amanone ne yakwa akoton no ena odi abehiem se eno no obema private companies no license no matumi export cocoa no matumi market cocoa ne yesi we na sadia na cocoa industry na ena wugu no obeka ya tamwana PBC omonko ana ne to cocoa no eno na ya aban ko adia nti ya boaye ema Ghana fo bebre enya adwuma eyeye ye ka se da bi yemie mu ma obi ameye bia nkrofo firi amana no be yeye no ene PBC agu enti si yanhwe yie na ye de external marketing no so ekohye sebe ahoho nsa ene na chese cocoa industry no ano ena yegu no ebiemu aban se wo cocoa fu na opese wutwitwa wo cocoa no mu opese cocoa no bi wutu free mu a opese oye pruni kra ne nyina no je se okokwaje tumi krata efree aban ho ene ye ka se ye ne enim cocoa fu no ukowa fu mu ne se opese wutwitwa cocoa mu a eno an se wutwitwa cocoa no ebia aboba apeso na apese oyiyi mu a eno an se oyiyi mu na wo te medokwaye wote akontomra wote dwaboso na okokofo ebia opese otwetwa mu a eno no yesa odi application ekoma aban na ahina na aban no ma wo permission se twetwa okoko no mu a untimi twetwa mu ana eno ntini yesra aban se saa eno de onhwe na onyi emfiri ho emayen na afi so aban se obema local processes no omo eyam yekoko no obema wo mo ohamu chichemu no aduonum na omo ayam no woheya na omo de aye niema mpese omo de ye chocolate niema ekeka ho eya asem papa na ne aye bisa ne se ya mprempren aye wo mu yi se obi ye local processor na opese o to cocoa free cocoa board ho a bibia anchekere no so obeto cocoa opese o to cocoa no 90% kura akonya wo ho utumi to na emmom ne wo mu ne se enam se local processor no ya na ye pese ye boa wo mu nti no main crop being no a ye de koye external contract no enye no na ye de ma ye local processors no ye de like crop beans na ye ketwa na ye mfa nkwa abrochire nkoton no ene ye de ma wo mo eno no ye ton no ye teso broni beka say discount of 20% ene ye de ma wo mo nti ni aye bisa wa hande se ye be ma ye local processors no 50% dia na main crop being no ene ye teso dia ma wo mo ana na ye teso a saa kai beba ho no ebe ye hwan ka cocoa board for ka na ana ye nyina wo hayi ne ye becha atua ana ne ye di ma akuafo no ene ye bete so bi na ye de a finance sa activity no ana enti ni tietie mu no ne aye kan ne se president na da Roma ye nyina ye president no emrei se ne ya chechire mu ohaw bebre ewo ho ti ebesre president says onyamfa ne sanchase a ke ebesre ne say on sign famra parliament na parliament sambo bo ho na ba bia ye fi say ye sakra mu a ebeye no ya sakra mu na ama obia ho aton emra no se ne o sesi ayi de se ye kasa enwo ho saa ya de a ebeha akuafo eyiye pa bedamase.
So please, at this point, we will allow for some questions, Cree and English. You mention your name and the media house you are coming from.
Honorable, good afternoon. That's the social name in Chihuahua. Honorable, he said Parliament passed a bill. And once a cocoa board, I shall see a stakeholders engagement with some of the farmers and association heads. But I think this said, instead now work as a stakeholders engagement and COSO and San Normal pass a bill. CCA cocoa board, I shall see or yes stakeholders engagement. Honorable, would you say on me as some of the bill not at the upper parliament?
ɛno na yɛde adesrɛde ɛto ɔmanpanyin anim no ɛsɛ koko board for na ɔmo ahunu sɛ ɔmo yɛ ntomso na sɛbe panyin sɛ ntutu anoma ho ansa na yɛde akɔkyerɛ panyin sɛ yɛ anoma beenia law no yɛ pass awie o wa pass awie yɛ pass no em sɛ ukuada adwuada no ɛna ɔmo frɛ akuafo ne other stakeholders sɛ ɔmo mmra ne nkyerɛkyerɛ ɔmo mmra ne mu na me nua wa we yɛtɔ aso mu wa pass mmra na awie o nti die panti na wo pentem se mmra na wo be passe ka wo to bo ase na nka wo hia wo mo na obi a de na dwenkyerɛ kakra baaye ansa na ye passe mmra no a se nka nse bibia nti me gye se cocoa board for anye ne ye me gidi se ye so ye kan ɔmampanyin obetie na sopam na sani ameka ye no so onyamfa ne nsa enhya ase a ɔmfa mmra na jasu ya yensan mo bo ho ye ne akuafo no licensed buying companies holiers and other stakeholders in a yenina yenhwe na yemfa yie ento yie. You are satisfied?
No. Thank you, Honorable. You did mention that I'm even in the Kofi with the Daily Guide.
Which station?
Daily Guide.
Daily Guide, okay.
Now you mentioned that when you assume office, your government, that's the NPP, would not announce an FOB price and retract and later reduce the price as announced. But we are very much aware that there are a number of factors in determining the FOB. Price of cocoa, not only government policy, but other factors such as international market price and also earnings we make from export. Aren't you going to have yourself again, like the NDC in government, would then come back to reduce the price as it's done in recent time?
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. As you may know, cocoa was brought into this country in 1879 by Tetekwashi. You can calculate how many years cocoa has been cultivated in this country. We have never ever reduced the producer price. Never ever. Since the cocoa was introduced in this country, we have never ever reduced the cocoa price. Do you know why? The cocoa is sold upfront. We do forward sales. So you negotiate with your international buyers how much they are prepared to buy the cocoa. You negotiate. And once the negotiation ends, you sign a contract. Once that contract is signed, that price cannot change. Rain or shine. You have negotiated with your international buyers. This cocoa or this ton is going for 7,200. So once that negotiations are complete, contract will be signed. And once the contract is signed, within the season, the price cannot vary. So I was surprised that the finance minister came and announced an achieved FOB price of 7,200. You remember the word that he used, achieved FOB, something that you have achieved already. So I was surprised that in course of the season, they turned around and said, because the international price had gone down, they are forced to reduce the producer price. No. After you have achieved. So once you have negotiated with your international buyers and signed the contract, remember, when they assumed office, if you remember, they were saying that the NPP administration entered into contracts was it for a number of tons in 2024, and they were unable to deliver those contracts. If that contract is delivered today, it will be delivered at the price at which the contract was signed, even if it takes 100 years. So once the contract is signed, it is signed. The price can no longer vary. So that is why the NPP is committed that once the price is announced within the season, midstream, the price will never be reduced.
My name is I believe and I know that the previous administration embarked on rehabilitation of cocoa farms, where they will pay some amount per a cocoa tree, and then they will also give them some 20 seconds and some this thing to plant on the distance. I don't know what has become of that program. I don't know what is government are testing it, because the idea was to have the community to get rid of all schooling and other diseases from the cocoa farms. There were giving them some new varieties to plant. I don't know what has become of it. If you can give or share this normal. And then you made a point that when the year assumes power, what will maybe 2020?
January 2029.
Okay, 2029. But what announced will stay there. You are not going to do whether the website goes up.
I've just answered that question. Yes, but let me answer the first part. You see, the single factor which is threatening the cocoa industry is not the price. The single factor which is now threatening the cocoa industry is cocoa swollen shoot virus disease. The Western North, they used to produce more than 40% of Ghana's cocoa. The Western North alone, that's, small region. They used to produce more than 40% of Ghana's crop. Today, there's virtually no cocoa in the Western North because of swollen shoot. The disease is such that it cannot be controlled by an individual. So we control it by what we call block treatment. You map out an area, let's say 10 hectares, 20 hectares. Every tree within that enclave will have to be removed. Once you remove it, you have to treat it with an arboricide and wait for 1 year until every part of that cocoa tree is completely dead. The virus cannot survive in dead tissues. It can only survive in living tissues. So once the cocoa tree, the roots and every part is dead, then you can introduce your cocoa. That is what Nana Addo started. He contracted loan from the African Development Bank, if you remember. And that's why our friends on the other side are making a lot of noise that cocoa board is indebted by some whatever. When Nana Addo was leaving office, close to 60,000 hectares had been treated. Let's ask the current administration whether they've been able to treat even 1 hectare. They have abandoned that program altogether. If we are not careful, if we do not sustain the control of the cocoa swollen shoot virus, the cocoa industry will collapse. So as far as I'm aware, at the moment, they are not continuing with the program. But the program, as you indicated, Cocoa Board was doing it on behalf of the farmer. So we take over your farm, we would do the cutting out, we would do the planting of plantain suckers, we would plant the cocoa seedlings and maintain it for 2 years. When it starts, bearing fruits, then we hand the farm over to the owner. So that is what the NPP government was doing. But as far as I'm aware, that program has been halted. It's no longer, being carried out. Any more questions? Thank you very much. Okay, my name is Isaac Yawopoku. I had my PhD in 1993, so normally I don't add the doctor. That's a long time ago when many of you were not born. I'm the chairman for the Agric Policy Committee, and my co-chair is Honorable George Odro. He is the former member of Parliament for New Edubiasi. And the other members, my senior colleague in Parliament, in terms of age, I'm older than him, but in Parliament is older. So my senior colleague, he is Yao Frimpong. Do you know him? He was the Deputy Minister for Agriculture. He's now the chairman for the Environment Committee of Parliament. He's also a member of the Agric Committee, the Agric Policy Committee. And Dr. Sagri. Dr. Sagri is also a member of the committee. The other members, and he was also a deputy minister, the Agric, former deputy minister. They are all former deputy ministers, so all of them. So hopefully in 2029, I'll also be a deputy. And hey, Minister, this one day I'm privileged. I'm honored to introduce to you the former Minister for Information and the former Minister for Works and Housing, and currently the chairman for the Policy Coordination Committee. Honorable MP for Ofuansi. You know him better than I do. For Ofuansi Ayuribi. Ofuansi, yes.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. God bless you.
So colleagues, thank you. Like we mentioned, other committees will be engaging you and will be presenting various papers. Later.